Yeah. Yeah. For the last decade, we watched artists like Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar run the rap game, gaining legend status through unforgettable hooks, creative storytelling, and impeccable catalogs. We watched them from their mixtape phase, trying just to get a deal, to joining the majors and becoming legends in their own right. Like most other legends in the game, they come from signing to a record label to creating their own. Kanye West with Rockefeller Records, and then Good Music producing artists such as Big Sean, John Legend, Pusha T, and Tiana Taylor. Lil Wayne with Cash Money Records, then starting his own imprint, Young Money Records, producing artists such as Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga, and Rick Ross with Def Jam, and then starting his own label, MMG Records, producing artists such as Meek Mill, Wale, and Omarion. We've seen what the previous artists have done, but now let's see who's learned from their predecessors and made the turn from just running the game to ushering in other artists and guiding them on a path to greatness. Who has the best record label out of these three artists? I first want to say I won't be including TDE because it is not an artist-run label. Yes, it's heavily known for housing Kendrick, but he wasn't in charge of the label. So unless Top Dawg himself drops an album, it won't be an artist-run label.
This is Curtis Blow with the latest trends. You got to know what's out and what's in. Talking about the taste of one that's right. Now more than ever, it's right.
OVO, an acronym for October's Very Own, is a record label started by Drake, his producer and business partner Noah 40 Shabib, and fellow business partner Oliver El Khatib in 2012. Originally called ATF.
Jump up in the sky and put the stars into alignment. I rep the ATF in case you need to be reminded.
All things fresh. It was changed later to October's Very Own, inspired by the month that Drake was born in. Being name dropped prominently through his music, OVO became closely related to his entire brand and became a movement in its own right. Before signing artists, OVO was mostly recognized as a closing line that Drake's signature logo, the OVO owl. But what's a record label without artists? So in 2013, OVO signed its first artist, Party Next Door, the most popular artist on the label other than Drake himself. OVO also signed other artists like the duo Majid Jordan later that year, OBO O'Brien, and I Love McConan in 2014. Though I Love McConan would leave roughly 2 years later looking to explore different ventures outside of OVO. Artists like Roy Woods and the R&B duo Division would also find themselves on the label in 2015 and 2016 respectively. With an enormous artist like Drake at the helm and its in-house producers like 40, Boy Wonder, T-Minus, and Mike Zombie, this roster seems unbeatable. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Frequently being referred to as the OVO sweatshop by public figures such as DJ Academics, OVO has not been as prominent as it could have been. A majority of the artists have not grown into much outside of being artists that have signed to Drake. While having multiple albums released, none of them have come close to the success that Drake himself has received. Party Next Door, even though he's the most respected member of OVO outside of Drake, has had only minimal success in the mainstream, while working mostly as a ghostwriter and frequent collaborator for artists like Rihanna, Drake, Kanye West, and Nicki Minaj. Other artists on the label also haven't found major success outside of Canada, and most of their most notable moments have been features on Drake's albums. With a negative comes a positive. OVO also hosts the annual OVO Fest, which let artists perform their songs in front of a major crowd and become more known to the public.
Footwear, G, apparel, I'm so hood, that blue and that white looks so good. Hip hop, man, we gon' take it to the next level. Kicks match that hat and that dope back. Kids stay color coordinated, man, you know that. Truth is, I ain't got a jump shot, but I got a left hook.
PG Lang. After leaving TDE, after a nearly 20-year partnership, Kendrick Lamar started his own record label with former TDE president Dave Free called PG Lang, standing for Program Language. PG Lang isn't just a record label, but as its mission statement clarifies, it's a multilingual platform that will speak music, film, television, art, books, and podcasts. All in all, it's still a label, with its most notable acts so far being rappers like Kendrick Lamar himself, Baby Keem, Kendrick's cousin, and new up-and-coming rapper Tana Leon. While a young label, PG Lang is making headway with its multifaceted outlets releasing short films like its visual mission statement, an advertising campaign collab with Calvin Klein, and a future comedy film set to be produced by Free, Lamar, Matt Stone, and Trey Parker. But with all this going on, what can we say as PG Lang as a label? It has a strong start. As of now, PG Lang has been responsible for delivering Baby Keem's debut album, The Melodic Blue, Tana Leone's debut album Sleeper Soldier, and co-distributing Kendrick's most recent release, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Only time will tell as to what's to come from PG Lane.
Something like, I am a god. Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
Dreamville is the label conceptualized by J. Cole and his manager, friend, and business partner, Ibrahim Hamad, in 2007. While meeting at St. John's University with Cole chasing his rap dream and Hamad believing in Cole's vision, they both realized that outside of J. Cole's own record deal with Roc Nation, they wanted to start something of their own. A mixture of what Cole and St. John University students called New York, the city of dreams, and his hometown Fayetteville, North Carolina, Dreamville is a record label that lives up to its name, but giving out dreams to its artists and their fans. Before signing any artists, like OVO, Dreamville originally was just a merch company selling hoodies and shirts.
City of Dreams, like there was a dream to come to New York and get signed. He had the song Down in the Dream on his first mixtape and his second one, so like that was it. It was like, all right, well, Dreamville, but we didn't have no artists. I always joke like we was really just a merch company. Like that's all we did was sell shirts and hoodies that said Dreamville.
In January of 2014, Cole announced that Dreamville had signed a distribution deal with Interscope Records, and on that same day announced the signing of their first artist, Boz. A little after earning their distribution deal, Dreamville released their first mixtape as a label called Revenge of the Dreamers. The mixtape has since spawned a series of projects as recent as Revenge of the Dreamers 3, showcasing a multitude of talent that the label has to offer, but also frequent collaborators. After the signing of Boz, Dreamville then followed up with Kaz, Omen, Loot, and Ari Lennox, who were all featured on the follow-up label project Revenge of the Dreamers 2. In 2017, Dreamville continued to stack their roster with two more signees consisting of JID and the rap duo Earth Gang, who were already known as collaborators of the label. After the signing of both of these artists, Dreamville geared up to release Revenge of the Dreamers 3, which hosted a 10-day recording session in Atlanta with certain outside artists and all the members of Dreamville. A week after the project's release, it was already RIAA certified gold, and not too long after it went platinum, granting 15 artists their first platinum record, most of whom were artists on the label. It's incredibly obvious that Dreamville has no trouble giving their artists the opportunity to grow and shine as individuals, but also as a collective. Other than the label-filled albums that Dreamville also hosts, it has its own festival called Dreamville Fest, which allows the artists to perform their music and reach an audience that they wouldn't normally reach. After running down the statistics of each label, it's not hard to conclude that Dreamville is the most successful label out of the big three. With its own festival and multiple collaborative label projects, Dreamville has the resources and talent to be held in such a high regard. But let me know, who do you think has the best artist-run label?